August the 18th, 2015 to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go any further, there is a thing on the bottom that we're going to adjourn to an executive session that will be canceled. Roll call.
President Whitcomb.
Here.
Vice President Winchell.
Here.
Councilman McDermott. Miller.
Here.
Stoner.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Mayor Ritter.
Here.
Solicitor Coyne. Here. Engineer Rogowski.
Here.
Chief Stutz.
Here.
Chief Secret.
Here.
Secretary Dennis.
Here. We have a guest, Robert Hasmayer from Cumberland Franklin Borough Association.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to have a few remarks in front of you tonight. I'm Robert Hasmeyer from the Borough of New Cumberland, but I come to you before you here tonight as the president of the Cumberland and Franklin County Boroughs Association. We're the gateway to the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs. I'm your delegate to that organization. But more importantly, over the last 2 years that I've been president of the two-county association, we've been trying to take care of some financial difficulties that we've been having. We're in pretty good shape right now. We've been improving the quality of our meetings. We meet 3 times a year. Our last 2 meetings have been focused on the MS4 program. And the last one was for the 911 program and some of their difficulties. We got an inside look into the program. Our next meeting is in September, and I am here to request a little more attendance. Cumberland County is not very well represented at these meetings, but it is an opportunity every other meeting to showcase some business in the county. We meet at a restaurant or volunteer fire department, and if you participate, you may volunteer. At this point, may I answer questions?
Where's your meeting being held in September?
It's in Waynesboro at the Parlor House. The invitations were sent out the last couple of days. They go to the borough manager typically, and anybody can attend, but usually we try to get at least a delegate from each of the boroughs.
When is that held? What day?
September 22nd, Tuesday, 3 times a year. And the dates are designated in the charter.
Okay.
Ron, a copy was placed at everybody's.
I'm sorry?
A copy was placed at everybody's desk.
Oh, okay.
So you have.
Yep, there it is. I'm sorry. You can have that. I didn't see that. I beg your
I
pardon.
beat him to the punch, so I want to make sure you knew it.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis.
Your bet.
I didn't want to generate a lot of papers.
No, we generated it for you, not a problem.
Other questions?
Do we have anyone that regularly attends these?
I wouldn't say with regularity, no.
No. Which is why I'm trying to get a little more participation. Other questions? None? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Do we have any citizens' comments or requests?
This is not the circumstances I want to be up here for. Ronald Tracy, President of the Washington Fire Company. Firefighter arson is an unfortunate problem that undermines the mission of the fire service. The Washington Fire Company #1 has recently been confronted with an allegation that one of its own has been setting fires. Colin Miller was arrested on August 6, 2015 in connection with several fires in the borough of Mechanicsburg and Silver Spring Township. This preliminary hearing is scheduled for August 19, 2015 on charges filed by the Mechanicsburg Police Department and the Silver Spring Township Police Department. Mr. Miller is currently suspended from the Washington Fire Company and will remain so until the judicial process is complete. At that time, the Washington Fire Company will take further appropriate action. The The Washington Fire Company will not tolerate these actions and will continue to work with law enforcement to ensure justice is served. Additionally, the department is reviewing its policies and procedures and will be developing a preventative plan to eliminate the possibility of future incidents. We will be augmenting our current usage of the Pennsylvania State Police background check and the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services Child Abuse History Clearance to screen current and prospective members with training and educational materials. Every day, the Washington Fire Company answers the calls of those in need in Mechanicsburg and the surrounding community. Our firefighters respond to hundreds of calls each year for a wide variety of emergencies, including fires, vehicle incidents, emergency medical incidents, technical rescues, public service, and more. This is a quote from Fire Chief Andrew Bixler. The reprehensive actions of this individual do not represent this department or the fire service as a whole. Our mission has not changed. We will not let the actions of one individual define who we are and what we do. The Washington Fire Company will continue to serve Mechanicsburg and the surrounding communities and its citizens with honor, dignity, and devotion. Thank you.
Thank you. And you know, that's the fact that, you know, it's very difficult for a fire company to have somebody join and know that ahead of time. I don't care what kind of background checks you do, that can happen. And it's a shame it has to happen that way, but we know that the rest of the fire companies do not support that by any way, shape, or form. They don't want to be involved in that. So it's a shame to have to happen that way, but it does.
This will be released to the press.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have any other citizen comments or requests? Linda?
Linda Blair, T29 West Lewis. In reference to what Ron just said, having been membership secretary of the citizens, I would like to also point out, and Ron, I'm sure you know this for a fact, and I know the chief knows it for a fact, a lot of parents will let their children join the fire company at age 14 and will sign a permission paper. It is also needs to be realized that at age 14, we cannot run a background check on a junior member. They have to be 18 before we can run a background check. So, and I'm not saying this is what happened with this young man. No more on that. Number two, it was mentioned in the last borough council meeting about taking into consideration of putting Adirondack chairs around on Main Street. I, as a citizen, am opposed to it. If I'm walking up or down Main Street and there's an Adirondack chair sitting there, I don't want to be catching my foot on it and falling down on the street. Adirondack chairs are not going to bring business to the borough, just like the hanging baskets does not bring business to the borough. And I realize that the argument is, well, if we do this, it may attract businesses. Not if you're going to have injuries. And if they are not anchored down, that they cannot be moved. Some night you're going to have a barricade across Main Street of Adirondack chairs. And the people that did it may be sitting in them, who knows? It may be at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not in favor of those chairs either. Anybody else?
Good evening, council members. I just wanted to bring up a complaint that I received, a ticket on, what was it, August 9th for parking at a handicap parking spot that has a number. That how am I supposed to know that is a reserved parking spot?
It's a handicapped space and it has a number of the license plate by the looks of it, and that means that's the license plate on the car that's allowed to park there.
There's no state law on that.
Excuse me?
There's no state law on that.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I believe there is.
There is?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I did not see any.
Yeah, I think there is. With the light, I can't really read that, but it looks like a license plate number underneath that
That's
handicap parking.
probably the handicap placard number, not the license plate.
Oh, okay.
number.
No, I can't.
I don't
How
have any photo, but.
How am I supposed to know that?
If it's a handicap parking space, nobody's supposed to park there.
I am handicapped, sir. I have a handicap placard right here. My handicap placard was up.
Let me see that picture, please.
Yep.
Okay, so your assumption was that was a handicap place?
Handicap.
For a
How am
anybody.
I supposed to know what that number means?
Okay, you have a handicap placard with a number on it?
Yes.
Okay. So what is your number? Does it start with a P? Yeah, it starts with a P, 430238. This one is, that placard number right there is the same number you have when you're, not the same number, but it's indicating that's what it's for, the placard. So if you wanted to have a parking space in front of your house to allow you to park there.
I don't live in Borough, so I don't know. I mean, I was here, I have a storage shed at the back of 16 East Locust. I don't live in a borough.
Okay, but that's what it is. Whenever you have that handicap parking, and that's the placard number, and it tells you what the fine costs are underneath.
All right, I'll have to find it. Do you happen to know what that state law number is?
It's Pennsylvania Vehicle Code, it's 3354, the section, it's in the 3350 chapter. Four
Okay.
may not be the actual subsection.
You may
If you
have-
give me an email address or something, I will email it to you.
Yes, I can give you an email.
Sure.
address.
Can you say your name again?
You can have your picture back.
Ron Coon.
Thank you.
Where you live at, Ron?
I live on, out by 7-Eleven on Trindle Road.
Eastern.
Yeah, East Trindle.
Ah, you live right there next, right across the street from it.
Mm-hmm.
You want your picture back, Ron?
No.
One about it. It's crazy that that's about it.
Come on, Jeremiah.
I just want to make sure, I'm reading this.
How am I supposed to know that?
Do we have any other citizens' comments or requests? We'll move along. Okay, are there any additions to the agenda?
No, sir.
We need a motion for approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Motion's been made,
Second.
seconded, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Correspondence?
As I said, nice gentleman from PSAB, I put the invitations that he talked about in front of your desk tonight, and Marty from the Senior Center dropped these off. They do this every year. They have like a little picnic up at the Senior Center. I attached the invitation to that as well. She wanted me to disperse that to all council members. So if you're free September 9th between 11:30 and 2:30 p.m., hop up to the Senior Center and you can get some food and talk to them and see what they do.
Thank you.
You bet.
We need a motion for approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of council on August the 4th, 2015. Motion been made. Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Manager report.
If you noticed up on Shepherdstown, PennDOT actually started the day after our last council meeting when somebody asked about when they're starting the ramps. They started the next day, so there's some serendipity there. But they have the corner of East Marble and Shepherdstown torn up right now.
All
so-
messed up.
Yeah, all sorts of messed up. So it'll be moving up to Cooper Street and then up to Elmwood, the other intersections that have crossed that.
So
So
they're gonna leave that?
What's that?
They're gonna leave that and then go to the
Just
next
drag-
corners, or are they gonna actually finish those corners?
my
and
guess
then
would be
move
they'll
up?
finish the corners and then move up.
They were pouring concrete at Marble.
Yeah, they're almost done with like
Shepherdstown today.
2.5 of the ramps.
Hoover Street's tore up now, so.
So they are completing them before they actually move on to.
Sounds
And
like
the worst
they're-
one is out on the end, they'll be finishing that one out on the corner of Elmwood before they go over to York Street.
So that's where they're at. So it was nice that they started the day after that.
Yeah.
The other thing is we have kind of three important things taking place tomorrow. At 8 o'clock, we're meeting, we have our MS4 DEP audit is coming in the beginning of September. So we are getting together tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock to go over the laundry list of things that we have to get organized for them to come through and check out. So it's here, Greg's been talking about it, I've been talking about it, it's here, DEP is coming, and we will be doing our best to accommodate.
We can hardly wait.
Yes, that's kind of the way we looked at it too. After that, London and I have a meeting with, we just got done with our pension audit. They do that every 2 years, the state comes in. She was here for about a week, and we have no findings, but we're doing our exit interview on that tomorrow, so that should be taken care of. And then we are meeting with the garbage haulers, some pre-bidding discussions for our garbage contract moving in. So busy day tomorrow. but very relevant services, things getting done. So when you see all of us in the middle of September walking around, because there will be a lot of us looking in inlets, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
Yep, and a report.
Mayor?
Thank you very much. July 28th, invited to lunch with Rear Admiral Williamson, Commander Navy Regional Mid-Atlantic. Base history and ongoing security were discussed. August 1st, officiated a wedding at the Union Church. The 4th, the Mechanicsburg Fire Department held a crime night out at Northside School. Equipment and free literature were displayed. The 5th, no citizen reports of Navy security training on southwest grounds near the Mechanicsburg Borough line. 7th, Union Church was open for a vocal camp managed by Beth Brez of Trez Music. 7th and 8th, community yard sale downtown was successful, lots of families. The 8th, distributed reading certificates aided by the Cookie Monster at Friendship Park to youth readers from the Joseph T. Simpson Public Library. The 9th, presented a citation in Key to the City from the Mayor's Office to Eagle Scout Player at St. Paul's United Church of Christ. The 10th Crime Watch guest was Krista Hoffman. Human trafficking was her subject. All venues were discussed: sex, labor, physical, social, and potential human traffickers. Trivia question. An old newspaper article, on the back of it, it was Locust Point Inn was on the back of this newspaper article, so you have an idea of how old this was. And it says, our police department, Mechanicsburg, chiefly because of the fine character of its citizens, does not require the services of a large police department, as is common in many other towns of the same size as Mechanicsburg. 2 full-time officers, Chief of Police Harry Kozier and another officer, William Martin, comprise the police force, augmented on occasions by an extra police officer on a part-time basis. The police force is equipped with a radio-equipped cruiser and is a valuable asset to the community. I have that picture here. Anybody at the end of the meeting wants to come up and take a shot at the year of it? I have a couple prizes here.
1945.
At the end of the meeting, come up and take a shot.
Does it have a picture of the car?
Yeah.
Tell by the car. Huh?
You know your car should be able to tell by the car.
Yeah. And don't forget you had the red light out front of the building too. Not just the radio and the patrol part. That's when phone calls come in. Okay, anyway, shall we move on? Is that it, Mayor?
That's a report.
Thank you. Chief?
Well, I'm gonna have to just, because we do have this picture on display up in our meeting room, but take a look at the size of the siren on the top of that car. That's just, that's unbelievable. Other than that, I have no report, sir.
All right. Solicitor?
No reports, sir.
Engineer?
President, 3 quick items. Number 1, Memorial Park. The courts were paved as of yesterday, I'm sorry. That project is slated for completion by Labor Day. Number 2, the borough paving project was issued notice to proceed today. We anticipate that completion within the next 2 months, obviously. We have asked Temp Brothers to expedite their work on that particular matter. And as soon as we get a schedule, we'll forward that out to everybody. Number 3, we did receive comments back. Essentially, our traffic study was approved for the Mechanicsburg retiming project that we did. I think this opens the door, Councilman Weber, to have a meeting with PennDOT and start to discuss our favorite subject at the point. So we will get that together, and probably after Labor Day at some point, someone after that, and we'll coordinate with you before we do that. So that concludes my report.
Gary, if you don't mind, I'd like to go be involved in that if I can.
Sure.
We'll make it a party.
Are we gonna?
I would like to know about it.
Are we gonna tie our speed reduction request into that also?
We can, yeah. I think this just kind of opens the door. We have, they have some comments about, we proposed that change to Simpson in the area south of town. It's just a good way to open the door, so whatever we want to talk about, I think we can bring it up. So.
You won't forget that, will you, Gary?
What's that?
You won't forget that, will you?
I'm not gonna forget that. I've made that clear.
That is,
That's it.
okay, thank you. Fire Chief?
Yes, Mr. President, I have a couple items. The department critiqued our West Locust Street fire at Station 28. I also met with Jeremy Freeland from the Mechanicsburg School District, visited the 5 schools in the borough, updated our keys in the Knox box, so we're up to date on that. Also held a borough fire officers meeting In July 2015, we responded to 26 calls in the borough, 19 mutual aid calls outside, a total of 15 for the month of July. And also this Thursday, all the fire department's 800 portable radios and mobile units with VTACs will be upgraded to comply with the current FCC regulations through the 911 center.
Who's paying for that?
It's free. All we have to do is have the radios on, and it'll take a couple minutes to an hour or two,
Okay.
but they're gonna get taken care of. That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Agenda items.
Discussion of possible action to sell the international dump truck to Tony Besnick of Keystone Fleet Services for $1,000.
And I understand that's the old dump truck that's set up the sewer plant.
Correct. We could not get it started to go over to the COG auction, so we advertised it, and we ended up with probably more than we would have gotten had we taken it there in the first place.
Could we have a motion to accept this bid for $1,000?
I'll make that motion.
The motion's been made. Second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. It's his truck.
Approval of capital general highway sewer and capital sewer fund expenditures from July 1st, 2015, July 31st, 2015.
The motion?
Make that motion.
Motion's been made. Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any citizens' comments?
Unreliable,
I was gonna say something, I thought I better not.
That's okay. It's public forum. Richard Snyder, 338 West Main. Chief, ignorance of the law is no excuse, correct?
Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, okay. That's a strong, okay, good. Supreme Court has determined that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Not my choice, theirs. Article 10, Amendment 10. The power not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Reference also Article 1, Section 8. Supreme Court decision in New York versus the United States, 505 U.S. 144 in 1992. Conclusion. But the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions. It divides powers among sovereigns and among branches of the government precisely so that we may resist the temptation to concentrate power in the location at the expense, to expedite solution to the crisis of the day. We adhere to that principle today and conclude categorically, as was concluded categorically in New York, the federal government may not compel the states to enact or administer a federal regulatory program. If you got questions, you know where to find me.
Very good, thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Is there any other business, Glenda? Pat?
Two things. One, believe it or not, we're almost close to the budget again, so we'll probably be beginning discussion with volunteers.
How rapidly that's going.
I know, tell me about it. A lot of good things to discuss. But I'll probably come to council with the first or second meeting in September to get some ideas from you before I put it together. But I'm gonna spend the next month meeting with the volunteer groups about different things, what they wanna look at. So that process will probably start in the next week or so. The other thing is, in line with that, we started our compost site key pass system a little over a year ago, and we set with Silver Spring that we were gonna meet every year to discuss that. So it's that time of year to discuss that. We wanna send out renewals in November, so we have a little bit of time, but I'll be sending an email out. The last people that were involved from our standpoint on Borough Council were Councilman Whitcomb and Councilman Miller. If council's comfortable with that twosome, I'll send an email out to the two of you and try to get a meeting coordinated with Mr. Lanker. I don't believe Mr. Dillapapino is gonna be involved moving forward, but I'll try to get something set up with you guys the next couple of weeks. But we wanna meet, Ron's gotta grind one more time, and then we'll have a full year's worth of data to see how much we got, and then we wanna put together some paperwork for you to take a look at prior to that meeting. So we're probably looking at October-ish, but just keep that in mind when you get an email from me.
Are the fees part of that discussion?
Yes.
Particularly the contractor's fees?
Yes, that's, we want to take a look at that. It was one of the main things we discussed last year.
That was a heated discussion last time.
And it was funny because right after we set ours, a community next to us raised theirs $250. So, you know, it's nice that we get the product and we can generate it, but that's something that was very interesting, that we set our rate right in the middle at 500, and then another community just changed it to 750. So they don't want them, and we got them.
Are we short on product? Are we
No.
overloaded with product?
No, we should have hard figures on that by probably the end of next week or the following week, but no, Ron said to me the other day, he's spot on with where he's been in years past.
When Ron does the overall, how much stuff is he also going to take off what he's been using too in the product?
Sure he can, I'm sure he can.
So we have almost an accurate, almost.
We didn't use as much of it this year because we were using it as playground material, and we didn't use it as playground material this year. We bought different playground material. So yeah, I'll talk to him about that. But that's on the horizon as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Chief?
No, sir.
Mayor?
Thank you.
Gary?
No, sir.
Yes. Chief, I probably wouldn't normally ask these questions, but I'm going to since the way he exited the meeting. Do we know what the amount of the fine was that he paid or will have to have paid? And do we know if he had a handicap placard in his vehicle at the time?
I don't know if he had a handicap placard in his vehicle at the time. The fine would be $10. I can pull the incident and look at that, but I don't recall.
It says 50 to 200.
Yeah, well, are yellow tickets?
Oh,
So he got a $10.
He got a $10
He got a
ticket.
$10 ticket.
Thank you.
Okay.
You got a $10, which is what we, if they don't pay that, then yes, we file.
Then it goes to citation.
Goes to
For 50.
citation.
But would the ticket itself reflect whether or not there was a handicap placard in the vehicle or not necessarily?
No, but this was as a result of us, we got a complaint from the actual placard holder who could not park there.
Got it. Okay.
Which is why we're up there.
Enough said. Thank you.
Thank you. Kyle? Mark? Solicitor?
Yes, sir.
Roger?
Thank you.
All righty, meeting